Friends, we all know that YouTube is the most successful video sharing platform in the world. And the credit for this success of YouTube is always given to Google. But you will be surprised to know that YouTube was actually made by 3 young boys, not Google. While Google bought YouTube from those boys for $1.6 billion in October 2006. So in today's video, we will know who were those 3 boys who created YouTube. How and why did they make YouTube? And after selling YouTube, where are those 3 today? So let's start the video. First of all, let's talk about Karim, who was the youngest of the 3 creators of YouTube. Javed was born on October 5, 1989 in Marsburg, Germany. His father was Bangladeshi and his mother was German, and they both worked as researchers. While his father was a researcher at Namal Karim 3M Company, his mother was a biochemistry researcher at Christian University of Minnesota. When Javed was very young, his family left Marsburg and shifted to Neuschwanstein, West Germany. And then he spent most of his childhood in this city. However, when he was 12 years old, his family moved again and shifted to St. Paul, Minnesota. Friends, Javed completed his school education in this city. And then, for further studies, he took admission at the University of Illinois. But due to getting a job at PayPal, he left the campus before completing his studies. However, even after leaving the campus, he continued his studies from a distance level. And while doing the job, he got his bachelor's degree. After this, he befriended 2 colleagues at PayPal and together with them he created YouTube. When Javed was asked the reason behind making YouTube, he said that he could not see his favorite videos on the internet. And this problem of his inspired him to make YouTube. At the beginning of 2005, Javed bought the youtube.com domain with his friends. And in the next few months they completed this website. After this, on April 23, 2005, Javed uploaded the first video on YouTube, titled Me at the Zoo. Many of you must have seen this video. And for your information, the boy seen in that video is actually Karim. Friends, Javed played a very important role in the development of YouTube. But then, suddenly he quit YouTube. Actually, at that time, his interest was more in studies than entrepreneurship because he wanted to become a professor by studying. And in 2006, when Google acquired YouTube, he not only became an employee of YouTube but also an informal advisor. However, later he himself admitted that his decision to leave YouTube was wrong. Because of this decision, his share in the company had decreased. Actually, when Google acquired YouTube, Javed received 137,443 Google shares, valued at around $65 million at that time. If Javed had held those shares and stayed connected to YouTube, he might have been a billionaire today. But he chose a different path for his studies. After leaving YouTube, he pursued a master's in computer science from Stanford University. Then he co-founded a company called Y Ventures, which provided mentorship, guidance, and consulting to new startups. And even today he is running the same company. Well, this was the story of Karim. Now let's talk about the other founder of YouTube, Hurley. Hurley was born on January 24, 1977, in Reading, USA. He had a great interest in art since childhood. Because of this, from the time of school, he started selling his sketches and artworks. But when he reached high school, his interest in computers and technology began to increase. During high school, he became a member of the Technology Student Association. Apart from this, he was also very interested in running and won state titles in 1992 and 1994. After completing school, Chad graduated in Fine Arts from Indiana University of Pennsylvania. After completing his university studies like Karim, he also got a job at PayPal, where he worked on the user interface and logo designing. As we mentioned earlier, Chad met 2 colleagues at PayPal, and all 3 together developed YouTube. After founding YouTube, Chad became the first CEO of the company. At that time, his job was to manage the tagging and sharing features of YouTube. In October 2006, when Google acquired YouTube, Chad did not immediately leave the company. Rather, he remained the CEO of YouTube until the end of 2010. The benefit of staying connected to YouTube was that he received the largest amount when YouTube was sold. Instead of selling YouTube for cash, Chad took 694,087 Google shares and 41,232 shares through a trust. At that time, the total value of these shares was $346 million, which was more than 5 times the $65 million that Karim received. In October 2010, Chad resigned from the CEO position of YouTube. After that, he teamed up with YouTube's third partner, Chen, to start a tech company called AVOS Systems. This incubator company provided real-time application development and testing services to developers. Although this company made many applications, Chad focused the most on a company called Mixbit. However, despite significant efforts, Mixbit could not achieve success like YouTube. And in 2018, a company called BlueJeans acquired Mixbit. Apart from this, Chad invested in various sports, including Formula One racing, NBA and football teams. He is a part owner of the Los Angeles Football Club and has stakes in the NBA's Golden State Warriors team and Major League Soccer. Now let's talk about YouTube's third and last founder, Steve Chen. Steve Chen was born on August 25, 1978, in Taipei, Taiwan. He spent the first 8 years of his life there. After that, his family moved to Prospect Heights, USA. Steve completed his schooling in the local school of this city. Later, like Javed Karim, he took admission at the University of Illinois for computer science. In 2002, after completing his university studies, he got a job at PayPal where he met Javed and Chad. The rest of the story you already know, how these three together created YouTube. However, Steve's story is slightly different. Before making YouTube, he also worked at Facebook for a few months. At YouTube, he was assigned the role of Chief Technology Officer, where his main task was managing YouTube's traffic. When Google bought YouTube in 2006, Steve received 625,366 Google shares directly and 68,721 shares through a trust, valued at approximately $325 million at that time. Today, the value of those shares has grown to $1.78 billion. Like Chad, after selling YouTube, he did not immediately leave but stayed until 2009. After leaving YouTube, he worked at Google, but in 2011 he also left Google to start AVOS Systems with Chad. However, unlike Chad, Steve was not interested in Mixbit and kept his distance from it. When Chad tried to integrate AVOS Systems with Mixbit, Steve left the company. While Chad focused on Mixbit, Steve rejoined Google Ventures, which supports startups. In 2016, Steve launched a website called nom.com, a live streaming food network. However, it did not gain much popularity and was shut down within a year. In August 2019, Steve left America with his family and moved back to Taiwan, where he has been living since then. So, this was the story of the three people who gave the world a unique gift in the form of YouTube. Today, YouTube not only entertains people but has also become an important medium for education and employment. We hope you found their life stories inspiring. That's all for today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.